Welcome to Classic Car Cave for the subscribers and new people looking in. I got quite a good response to the doing this front suspension and rear suspension on my E-Type. So I actually need to bring up the front of the car a bit. I'm going to probably go for one, maybe two splines, I'm not quite sure. This is not set in stone how many splines will do what. It's a bit of try it and kind of suck it and see. Now this video is one of the longest ones I've done. It's about 16 minutes, but because I've had a few comments, people who are going to do this job, and I'll obviously go on to do the rear suspension as well. I've tried to show as much as I can in it, so there will be a little bit longer, so I hope you can stick with it if you're interested in it. So as I say, it's about 16 minutes long. I'll try to keep them to 10 minutes as much as possible, but I'd like you to see every step that I'm doing. Now there's many ways to do this job, but this is on one particular way of doing it, and I've tried to put some tips and some bits and pieces in to help along the way. So I hope you enjoy the video. Thanks for watching it. So I need to tackle this job on the front, these torsion bars. I basically need to change the position of this spline here, and at the back I'll just bring you in so you can see. But you may be able to see that arm at the end. I'll just bring it in a bit further so you can see. Okay, so you can see this. I'll put my finger in so you can actually see where I'm at. So this thing here, they call the teardrop. And basically that is the arm that's putting the tension onto that bar. So it's effectively twisting the bar, hence torsion. And as I said, this is a adjustable reaction plate. The normal plate is just flat, it's just got bolt holes in it, and somebody came up with this really clever idea of using a cam system. But you can see there's a slot right above, and there's a bolt through it right on the top of the teardrop arm, and there's a slot there, so it's a half circular slot which allows that arm to be pushed up or down, come down to lower the height, or up to make it higher. The problem is in this situation is that where it is now is right at the very top of the slot, so it can't go up any higher even if I had adjustment. So now it means I've got to actually take the torsion bar out. So there's quite a few ways of doing this, but one of the easiest ways to do it, I'll bring you back out again. One of the easiest ways to do it, if you've already had the suspension apart. This is not easy to do if it's an old suspension, has never been apart for a while. One of the things you can do is so what I need to do obviously now is I need to take off that shock absorber from the lower wishbone, or A-frame some people call it. So I'll take off that gas shock absorber, and I also need to drop that drop link there from the front anti-roll bar. So they obviously have to come off, because what we need to do now is take all the tension out of this lower arm, so there's no tension on it whatsoever, so we can then undo the back. So the way I'm going to do it is, you may see there that there's a small bolt going through there, and this has got on the torsion bar itself is got a position where you can put this in and it will stop it going forward or out. Now on this particular car, that teardrop on the back has never been out because they were so tight to get out. So there's obviously more splines on one end than really is the other. I can't remember what they are now, but there's a few differences in splines. I'll try and find out as I go on. So the only thing, what we can do now is actually, instead of taking all of this wishbone off, which you would do if you were rebuilding it, the bushes and so on, is we can undo this, take the pressure off it, and then push this spline bar through, because it's built in such a way that the splines are larger than the diameter of the bar. But on an older car, you will find that on here there is an issue, because on here normally the casting is in really poor condition. Now you might be able to see, hopefully you can see, I can bring you in and show you. Hopefully, I'll try and pull this back in again so you can see it. You may be able to see that this has been cleaned up on here. When I very first did the suspension, I couldn't get this spline past this piece. It was too bulbous and too thick because the casting was really bad here. You may be able to see it on that one as well there. So they were done the first time I did the suspension because I couldn't get the spline past. which is something that you'll need to do if you've got an older car and all this bad casting is on it, because you won't be able to get this spline through. It's very tight as it is, even with this now, but with a bad casting on it, you'll never get it through. So the first item I'm going to take off is this shock absorber, because I need to disconnect it from the bottom arm. So very simple job. There we are, it's out. Good idea if you can to try and put the bolts back in again, so you don't end up losing them or kicking them over the workshop. So that's the first job. So the next job, I've taken off this front shock absorber. I need to now take off this drop link from this anti-roll bar on the front. So I've got everything off this lower wishbone. So I'll take that off now. So again, that's out of the way. So what I'm going to do is actually take the shock absorber right out of the way, just to give me access to it. It's an easy job. Obviously this bolt can't come out on the lower wishbone, it needs to stay in place, and it's a good idea to put the nut back on. So I'll take this off, it'll get out of the way of the camera and it'll get out of my way as well. These are all locking nuts as well, nylocks. So now I can take that shock absorber off and get it out of the way and replace the nut. So normally with these 72 spoke wire wheels and these spinners, the spinners obviously come off from the front because the braking forces are greater than the acceleration forces. Normally what you would use is a hide or a copper hammer to take these off, but it does damage the wings. You know, you can use something like this to get them off. But I found this tool. It's a guy that's retired, a machinist that's retired, and made this aluminium one billet piece. And the nice thing is they work obviously because it's left and right handed. So you can actually fit it on like that and you don't damage the ears. You need a 38mm socket to go on it. As you can see, there's no damage at all to the, just take it off that way, take the socket on. And I can actually undo them quite easily. That's enough because it's on the ground now, so what I'm going to do is lift the car up. But this is a really good bit of kit. I got it from a chap in the UK, and I can give you the name of the guy that makes them. You think he makes them for MGs as well. Okay, so I've got that piece in. What I'll do is put an extra piece in there to give me enough height to take the arms down. So what I can do now is drop it down onto that, just check everything's good, and that'll relieve the suspension. So I'll come down. That should hopefully give me enough room to get everything through, which it does. I can use that now for the front suspension. So because the E-Type's going to be up on the ramp for quite some time, one of the jobs I'm going to do before I finish inside is I've chopped all the wheels up, and what I'm now going to do is put the hood up. On any convertible, you want to be keeping the hood up as much as possible. You should never store it with the hood down. It creases the hood really badly. So that's what I'll do now. I'll just stick the hood up. And with the E-Type you have to basically pull the seats forward to lift the hood in place. It's a one person job, but it can be a bit fiddly. You can see there. I now have to go around to the other side. As this latch here has come down. It doesn't need to be bolted up as long as it's up. So I've got the car jacked up. I've already loosened the spinners off. I'll take the spinners off and take the wheels off. Obviously these are on a spline. There we go. One wheel off. I'll do the same on the other side. I'll do the same on the other side, that way I can get to the bottom to lift it up to get the suspension sorted out. As I've taken the pressure on it now, so what I can do now is I can release the track rod ends, because obviously the steering will, the rack will only come down so far. I'll release these track rod ends first, and then the top ball joints on the top arm, because the top arm has no resistance in it whatsoever. It's the bottom arm on the torsion that's doing all the work, and also the shock absorber incorporated in that. So what I'll do is I'll get them open now. Then I can drop this down and take the tension out of the torsion bars, and then I can remove this nut and bolt here. You can see this is a better style of ball joint, so it doesn't damage the gaiters. On the nose, and then so now, what I'll do now is I'll just support this end, because when it goes, I'll take this track rod out of the way. When it goes, there's a lot of weight come way around, so I can push that out of the way and then drop this to one side. And I want to drop it to this side so that it's not pulling onto the brake line. So there we are, we're released. All I've got to do now is drop the ramp, and you'll see just how far these go down, these torsion bars. So it'll bring the whole thing down, and I'll show you that right now. So because I wanted to do this step by step and go through it. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is drop this pit jack. I've got it support the engine and the body supported on a blocks at the back, so I'll drop this down and you'll see the two bottom wishbones and the torsion and the pressure coming out of the bars when I drop it down. You just need to be careful with your flexi lines that they don't swivel round. So what I'll do now is I'll drop it and the tools out of the way. So I'll drop it down and I'll show you what I mean. So coming down, this is the pressure coming out of the bars now. The pressure's off them now, but what I need to do is just pull these round So what I'll do is I'll pull them up at an angle so they're not tightening on these two. You can see, bring it down a little bit more. You can see that's actually away. So that's all the torsion out of these bars now. It's completely down, but I don't want to pull these too much, so I'm going to wire them up now so that they're more straight up like this, which will protect the hoses. So that's it for this one. In the next one I'll show you how I'm going to adjust them, and then basically the reverse of putting them back together. But I wanted to do step by step because quite a few people asked me that they're going to do this particular job, so I wanted to do it step by step. So as I said, in the next video, which could be Sunday or Monday, Monday or Tuesday, I'll actually show me changing them around and bringing the splines out. So on that note, thanks for watching in. Stay safe, keep the faith, enjoy your hobby. Bye for now.